Absolutely. Want you? So I want for those who are out there, what can you do? Galvanize around triggering events. Organize your community. Take online activism. Boycott. You can post on social media. You can do acts of civil disobedience. There are people who are doing die-ins. They're doing all kinds of things. So that's what you could do. Go from your computer screen to the streets, right? Roy, I want you to talk about becoming a friend to the end and this whole concept of white allies, because you touched on that. Your entire chapter in my book is about white allies. Can you talk to us about how white allies can be true friends in this process?
Well, it's important to understand how we got here. We got here because of white silence. If when Emmett Till, when in 1955, when Emmett Till's body was pulled out of the Tallahatchie River, and white people would have said, "This is too much. We can't tolerate this," and some of them did. But as a majority, they were silent, and therefore it sparked the civil rights movement. And many people criticized Black people for protesting and demanding justice and demanding fair treatment, which is due to us by the Constitution. Many were upset that we wanted to have our rights and exercise our rights. So therefore it led to the civil rights movement. And as the civil rights movement grew, it was predominantly Black up until 1965, where Martin Luther King and Ralph Abernathy and John Lewis and a number of leaders, Daisy Bates, organized in Selma, Alabama. And this is what we know as Bloody Sunday in that March of 1965, because it was broadcast on, this is police brutality. This goes back to police brutality on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, which should be renamed, but on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, America finally saw the brutality that Black men and women and children were experiencing. And so that prompted white people to get engaged. Now, it wasn't enough, because there was still those that were choosing sides, and they did not want to be uncomfortable in society or in their social structure. Just to fast forward, we can go through the history all day long, but what's different now, 2 weeks ago, you saw, almost 3 weeks ago tomorrow, we all saw the video of George Floyd on the street with a police officer's knee on his neck. And now you got to explain that to your child. And your child is saying, "Hey, this is wrong. The police shouldn't do that." Now you have white children criticizing the police. This is unheard of. We've not seen this level of criticism and conviction around police reform from such a broad swath of the community. So now what we're seeing are, the reason why we're seeing so much movement is because we're seeing not just Black people crying for justice and change. We're seeing the dominant white society, the mainstream white society, calling for change. And I'm not saying dominant society as in one's better than the other. What I'm saying is dominant as in numbers, okay? Numbers. And this is what your politicians pay attention to. Your politicians are paying attention to their electorate. And so when their electorate is saying, "Hey, we need some change in the police," now you have the Justice and Policing Act now proposed in Congress, finally, to enact some significant police reforms. So my point is, it's important for white allies to speak up. We've been talking about the injustices in schools. We've been talking about injustices in policing. We've been talking about injustices in the business community and corporate America. So welcome to the party. Welcome to our world, and be prepared to listen, because for so many years, you've not heard us. So can you hear us now?
Wow. Good. So last part on this piece, this action plan, and just for those who are listening, we're going to be developing these action items every single week, and we're going to put it into what we call the Black Male Compact. which will be something that you can download on our website that you can take to your mayor, you can take to your elected officials and say, we want you to do this on behalf of African-American men in this country.